Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, because I think, on first instance, some people would look at the financial markets and financial services. If you're a marketer going into starting out your career, I'm not sure people would say, oh, I really want to work for a bank, or I really want to work for, a financial services technology firm. Certainly when I was starting out my career 10 years ago, that wasn't the cool thing to go do. The cool people were going off to work for either, some small tech companies, some startups, or some, or maybe even like some FMCG groups like Unilever, and, like working for brands that people had heard of and used on a day-to-day basis. I think marketing's changed a lot over the 10 years that I've been working in it. And part of that change, I think, has made the industry I'm in more interesting, which is financial services has changed. The rise of FinTech has changed what financial services means. So they're just more exciting, interesting, innovative brands to work for now. And then secondly, I think what you've seen, and for any sort of marketing nerds who probably read Marketing Week and Mark Ritson a lot, I think he makes the point that, in B2C marketing, to be honest, there has been somewhat of a degradation of the discipline. So, B2C marketing, unfortunately, has increasingly become specifically about communications, basically. Whereas in the field that I operate in financial markets, and particularly in B2B financial markets, I find the responsibilities that have been landed on my plate and my team's plate have become increasingly strategic. So, not only are you the communications department, but you're actually making, active decisions about the positioning of the company, the approach to target markets, which target markets to go after, what's your commercial approach to those guys. In my current role, I report directly into the chief commercial officer, and together we define the entire organization's approach to how we speak to our markets, which markets we go after, and how we speak to our markets, and how we develop propositions that appeal to those markets. So I think, I think why am I in this field in financial services, and why do I enjoy it? I suppose I think increasingly I felt like it's actually one of the areas of one of the industries, one of the areas where marketing probably has an increasingly important role to play. I mean, that's certainly been my experience.
Interesting. So basically what you're saying is that the industry has changed a lot in the past 10 years, and it's getting more exciting. It's less kind of corporate and structured and processed and all that. And the second point is that you think your role as a marketer is much more important and strategic than, let's say, selling, I don't know, whatever, food at Crafts or.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good summary basically of where I'm at. I think I'd probably be hesitant to say, because I don't want to do down any B2C marketers out there, and I certainly, like I said, I haven't got a huge amount of experience of that role, of that world, so it might not be. I'm sure it's not the case at every firm, and I'm sure there's ones where B2C marketing and the marketing functions within FMCG groups are held up at the highest level. And some of those examples that I was talking about earlier, like Unilever and the big FMCG groups, I know how highly brand is regarded within those, but I do think there is a general trend that in these, particularly in the bigger B2C sort of corporate organizations, you have other functions that manage those areas, and you have people to cover price, people to cover product, people to cover proposition. You have that's more diffuse, so the role that marketing plays will inherently be that bit smaller. So I think that's partly the thing that I enjoy about this role, and certainly where I'm at now, is that there is that ability to have that strategic voice, because they just the organization, certainly once you sit in a 200-person organization, there isn't that huge scope of workforce to take off those little other bits of the role. And if you're a good marketing person, you revel in taking on that extra responsibility, and I think that's what I'm certainly finding in my role, and what I'm enjoying, I guess.